Welcome to Freed on Business. He grew up in South Florida, has been in business here since the early 90s, and has closed over $3 billion in deals. He's seen it all. He always has an opinion, and he's always ready to share it. Informed, entertaining, and connected, he has his finger on the pulse of South Florida's business community. He's Jim Freed, and this is Freed on Business.
All right, everybody, I'm the podcast bandit, live from Zach's today. I want to thank Andre for bringing my coffee. If you saw the pre-show, Andre brought me my coffee. I also want to thank Keith for turning down the music just a little bit so we could go live today. Today, we're going to talk about all things in the future. I think it's a great way to do it, sitting here at Zach's, broadcasting off the web with Mr. Mendoza, Mr. Regan Mendoza. Yeah, I got to do that to get it right. Why are we doing it? This is the future. 18 months ago, I couldn't even envision this, maybe 19. Then Regan told me, hey, let's try Zoom. And we did it in my office. And then, boom, pandemic hit. Everybody does Zoom, and it's tremendous. So we're in the future if you're 20 months ago. But we're here today with Olivia, who's going to help me look at the future. Olivia, I'm really excited. Sounds like you're going to speak at UF. Those kids need to learn how to look into the future, how to leave their current construct on the side and see things in a fresh way, which is what today's all about. What are we going to talk about today?
Today, we are going to talk about robotics.
You're kidding. I'm so tremendously thrilled about that. I discussed robotics the other day with a friend of mine who's doing robotically driven agriculture. He'll be on the show some other time, but robotics is going to change everything. We're going to talk about that right after we sell a couple of cars for Warren Henry. Stick with me. We love Warren Henry. We'll talk about Warren Henry, and then we will be back. And Olivia, you're going to love this turn. Will drive us into the future. Mr. Mendoza, it's yours. All right, everybody, we're South Florida's longest running business talk show on since 2008. Warren Henry's been our sponsor since, I think it's 2011. I don't have the thing with me today. Maybe it's 2012. Anyway, it's a long time. I love them. Larry, Warren, Eric, Samantha. I'm going to bring them some suits for the opening of the business year. And I'm going to go up there and see, they're going to roll out my wife's new model of her car. We're going to get her a new one in October. Why? Because we're members of the Warren Henry family. It's an awesome thing. So when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to give every advantage that you can. That's why I think I said that too quickly. Let me start again. The coffee got me. Hey, everybody, when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar up at 151st and Biscayne in their smoking gorgeous place. Or you go to Gainesville, they've got Audis down in that fabulous store in the Keys. Well, they got everything down there. What do they all have in common? Well, they're all great cars, and they all come with the Warren Henry advantage. It's a big, long list of great things. It includes a loaner car. They replace your keys if you lose them. They guarantee you the price that they're going to pay for your car. It's going to be really good. Your price is going to be really tremendous. And if you don't like your car, you can return it in 3 days. Nobody ever returns their car because they're so tremendous. So join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian, lots of my friends, and more every day. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry. We've been playing that PSA for almost, it feels like a decade at this point. Have I been on for longer than a decade? Yes, I have. We've been playing it for so long because it's true every time. Olivia, you're the essence of that. You're kind and wonderful all the time. I try to be too. Give me a call. I'm really creative and I do wonderful real estate deals. I'm backed by some guys on Wall Street that can just do about anything. I've got a term sheet on my laptop for $300 million of equity. That means my guys can do $1 billion with this client, and we're getting ready to ink that. Other things I'm doing, grocery anchored shopping center, full equity development there. You got it. Home loan for my friend. Oh, yeah. Even a former Dolphin player. We're doing a loan for a former Dolphin player. It's going to be great. I do those loans as an accommodation because they're so tough to do. Give me a call. If you notice one thing in common, it's that I try to help everybody when they call me. So give me a call. Why? Because when you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
All right, Ron, we're talking about the future with Olivia Ramos, my favorite artificial intelligence person. She used to work at DARPA. She's been looking into the future longer than anybody else I know has had a crystal ball. Welcome back to the show, Olivia. You told me we were going to talk about robotics, so let's go.
Yeah, so there's a lot of subjects within robotics. I want to focus on the ones that affect the urban landscape and architecture and construction. When you think about robotics, what do you think about, Jim?
I think about something that's an automated system. I don't think necessarily about something that looks like a person or acts like a person. I think about it's a machine that can help somebody do something. I look at it as the machine that can help somebody do something, whether it's on the assembly line and you see the people swinging the machine and it does certain welds or whatever, or it was tremendous. On 60 Minutes, I saw the Intel factory. That's only robots. So right. I think that repetitive, exacting tasks need to be done by robots. It makes all the cars better. Oh, I got to say it this way, Olivia. You're too young to remember when there was a big difference between the cars and who did the good cars and who didn't. And the people with the robotics and the technology, hey, had the good part. They had the good cars first. Back at you, Olivia.
Robotics has been around since 3000 BC. The Egyptians used to use robotics for like automated bell systems, and so the idea of automation of human action is pretty natural to us because it's been around like 1,000 years now.
Well, so, sure. Well, if you take it to that point, then wouldn't the Roman aqueducts be somewhat technology and, you know?
Well, so I want to differentiate between technology and automation. So for the sake of this conversation, maybe we can say robots are machines that work automatically, right? That do things, and more recently, machines that can make decisions, that can absorb information and react to information.
Well, that's your artificial intelligence that you do.
That's part of it. So, as you know, Elon Musk just came out with a Tesla bot, and it's supposed to be almost like an incarnation of Siri and Alexa. It's going to be able to make decisions, do mundane tasks, have conversations.
Hold it. You may know that there's a Tesla bot, but I didn't. What's that all about?
So I don't know a lot about it, but I know that it's brand new on the news. And the next project for Elon Musk is a bot, a humanoid. It looks like a human, and it's supposed to do mundane tasks, and that could be in manufacturing or around the house, or there's a lot of questions to what exactly it will be doing first. It looks really cool, and it's the future is kind of what we saw in the Jetsons and those kind of visionary images of what interacting with robotics might be on a daily life.
It's really fascinating how this individual has really tried to take a step forward across so many different silos, be it automobiles, space, and now I'll have to call it this, a model for supporting humans in an automated way. And I want to take a step back for a second. When you were talking about the difference between the aqueduct and the machine, so like the machine is sort of like when I drop the ball down and I see all the things happen, and in the end, the thing drops down when I was a kid. That's the way I look at it. Is that what we're talking about?
So, okay, let's talk about.
I'm driving it. You should drive it. Go back. I took you off.
No. That's good. That's okay. You asked why Elon Musk is doing all of this. I don't know him personally, but I would guess that if Elon Musk's ultimate plan is to have a human colony in Mars, you can assume that he's not going to ship a bunch of construction workers to Mars to build the city. You can assume that Elon is going to need some kind of automated system and automated smart system to build that future city in Mars. He's
Now,
going to
you
want
would
to
say
bring.
that. You would say that, but I would say that the astronauts built the space station, so big deal.
It's different building a vehicle that's going to go somewhere. So the astronauts will build the vehicle that's going to take us to Mars. But once in Mars, we have to build a city. We have to build an ecosystem so that humans can survive beyond that spaceship.
We need more than what the humans could do themselves. This will help to accelerate it.
It's not just that, it's that shipping a bunch of humans to Mars that will simply be workers that will be doing mundane tasks doesn't make a lot of sense because it's very expensive.
Yeah,
But if
and
you
all the
build
support itself. I get it completely.
Right. You can build a factory of robots in Mars and generate as many robots as you want, assuming you have the right materials. But even that, shipping materials is much different than shipping humans because materials don't require food.
Water and food.
Exactly. So, these things can work 24 hours a day. And so that's kind of what I think.
Yeah, well, you're just saying that. You're just saying that. But most people, they said, well, he wants to put a colony on Mars. I don't think too many people said, well, that'll require a construction factory manned by robots. I think that's a step most people haven't taken yet.
Well, but now that I saw,
but it's logical.
Yeah, it's logical. And I always believe that whatever we do with like space technology is going to help the Earth. So I really support. So imagine now, let's talk about construction. So we talked about Mars. Let's talk about construction for a minute and how inefficient it is and how misaligned construction is with the goal of the project. Tell me about that.
I'm sitting here right now watching some guys building a project, edging the concrete mist pour, trying to make it smooth enough so they can fit the next piece on. And it's not like anybody made a mistake. It's just that their method created a process that needed to be done afterwards. And perhaps that could be eliminated with a better pour, for instance.
Yes. And also something that was surprising to me, if you have a construction document, a set of construction documents that are poorly drawn, they actually have a lower quote for construction than if you have a perfect set of construction documents.
Say that again.
Okay, if you have, and I have a point about this, but if you have a construction document that's poorly drawn, many mistakes, you can tell right away that there's going to be issues, that gets quoted much lower as a construction quote than you would a perfectly drawn plan.
Actually, I would quote the bad bid form higher because I would need contingency.
The reason it is quoted lower is because the contractor is expecting a bunch of change orders. And short change orders mean a lot more.
Well, I could talk about the GC. You give that to it, just puke it back at you and say, this is crap. I'm not going to do this because there's too many change orders. That's my, hold on. Ken, get over here. Here's Ken. Remember I mentioned Ken? Thank you, Ken. Thank you so much. Ken made it good today. He made the world better. God bless you, Ken. See, I told you I wasn't BSing. There we go. That's really what the world's about. Everybody coming together with positive energy. Back at you.
Okay, so point being, construction is completely misaligned with the project itself. I think we're supposed to take a break so we can discuss that.
Well, listen, Mr. Mendoza is always keeping us on the clock. I threw in Ken because it was a good vibe, and Ken really made it quiet. He was really nice. We will come back in a second. We will talk about how robots are going to change the world. We will talk about how robots are going to change construction. And I'll bet from here I could see 3 robots building the building over there. Mr. Mendoza, it's you. This is where I tell everybody and remind them that we're South Florida's longest running business talk show. We've been on since 2008. That's like 13 years. Wow. It's like our anniversary in September. I got to check that out. See how many shows we've done and stuff. Like, a lot. In any event, we're here today with Olivia. We're going to talk about artificial intelligence and robotics. But before we do, I want to thank our sponsors at Warren Henry. They've been our sponsors since 2012. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Warren, Eric, and of course, Samantha. The marketing folks over there are just tremendous. Other people there are May and the people that service our cars. But if you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why I have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar. Those are up at 151st and Biscayne. Down in the Keys, they sell them all up. In Gainesville, they sell Audis. What do they have in common? Well, they're all great cars, and they all come with the Warren Henry Advantage. I'll bet they're built with robots, too. The Warren Henry Advantage is a long list of great things, including the fact that they'll replace your key for you. They'll polish up your wheels if you scrape them. They'll guarantee the price that you're going to get. And if you don't like your car, you'll have 72 hours to exchange it. Guess what? Nobody does that because they love their cars. So join me, my mom. That was her texting me that she just got on the plane there to go see my nephew up in Atlanta. She's traveling. I'm still not. Join my mom, my wife, and me. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry.
This is Becca Carlson from Carlson Integrated. You know, a lot of our clients find that they can do anything, but not really everything. We are always excited to jump in and help. So whether you need another set of hands for a project or even comprehensive marketing management, our team of marketing mavens would love to have a conversation with you to see if we are the right fit. We do everything from logo and design work to email outreach and social media to writing and thought leadership. And here's a fun one. We are now offering our fabulous ebook of top 10 marketing tips on our website for free. So head over to carlsonintegrated.com and grab a copy today. And please always let us know how we can help. My email is Becca, that's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com. That's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com.
You know, she is so tremendous. I can't thank her enough for all the help she does in helping me put together the marketing for my show and my business. And she helps a lot of my friends, too. Give me a call if I can help you. What I'm doing is helping a lot of families execute their real estate plan. I've got very creative capital, including a family office from New York that I'm working with. They've given me $400 million to place for construction loans for hotels, resorts, and apartment buildings. Give me a call. We can give you lots of leverage, high up leverage. Interest rate is pegged over LIBOR. And, well, term is 3 years. I said construction financing. Guarantee is negotiable. Give me a call. $40 to $70 million is our target price. We'll do things in the smile, San Francisco, basically around and back up to New York. Call me or DM me. Why? Because when you reach out to me, it's always all about you. And now back to Olivia.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
All right, and we're back with Olivia Ramos. Hey, Olivia, thanks for hanging around. I know you're here the whole show. I really look forward to it. We were talking about building stuff on Mars with robots. You brought me back to Earth and talked about robots on the construction site. And now we're back to where we were. So back to you.
Yes. So some data points. Between 30 and 40% of the equivalent of the hard cost of a project is spent on professional fees. That's quite a bit of money. And then between 20 and 40% of the hard cost is spent on labor. Okay?
Right.
So imagine if the fees could be reduced to 5 to 10%, and the labor costs can be reduced to another 5 to 10% by utilizing.
Sounds to me like we're going to then be able to build something that's affordable, God forbid.
Right. My question to you is, what do you think will happen from the developer side? Do you think that there will be enough competition to reduce the cost of living, essentially? Or there'll be more money, more returns. So developers will have a choice there.
Well, we know what they'll choose. They'll choose higher returns. So, that's what the developers will choose. They'll have to be forced by their capital partners or some other way to go away from pure capitalism. And I'm not saying that they will, and I'm not necessarily advocating for governmental distortion of the marketplace either. I'm just saying that I don't think I don't think that people will be motivated to pass along the cost savings to anybody else.
What if, because of these new systems, it opens to more players in the market? And, we've talked before how, actually, we'll talk in the future how smart contracts will be able to have a new lending system. Maybe that's what we'll talk next time. But if there's competition, which means more people are bringing more affordable products with automation, developers that are pocketing this money will not have a market for the products that they're building.
Well, you'll tell me that there's going to be broad-based, pure competition for this. I'm going to say that it'll come in on a sticky basis, so that won't really necessarily happen. I'm not sure if the first round of people that do it will make money. So, it's going to take time. It's going to need to evolve. And I think that as it evolves, what's really going to happen is that there'll be social pressure for people to be able to have affordable places to live before there'll be the technological capacity to deliver that. We're experiencing that right now. So I would think that there'd be an enormous pressure on people to do this automated construction. Now let's talk about it. Let's say you're a government official. How do you do the trade-off between the people that are your tax-paying people that vote for you that are going to work on the laborers versus the machine? There's going to be a lot of calculus that goes in there. But I think
but let me just say something. There's a shortage of labor right now. So I can't, before we had this narrative that robots were going to take over jobs, but nobody's working in these jobs. And this is across agriculture. This is across the service industry, across construction. Pause.
Yes.
These jobs are available for robots.
I completely agree with you. I met yesterday with a guy that's going to do robotic farming on a vertical basis. The things are 10 meters high, 34 feet. Okay. So there's going to be robotic farming. We're going to talk about that on a future show. I already know who's got to be my co-host on the future show. A lot of these, and the issue with that so far is it's so capital intensive that it's tough to roll out economically. Okay.
Understood. But when you're looking at a 200 unit building that currently takes 3 years to roll out, you don't think the initial investment for the robots will pay off even in that first project?
No, that's not true at all. I think that what you'll see is that there'll be different people that are investing in robots. I think that the institutional developers will invest in the robots first. They probably already are to some extent. I got to believe that they're already using automated things to measure stuff. If they're not, what's with that? Okay. So if they're already using stuff that measures stuff with lasers and they're doing all that, I got to believe that the next thing is having the thing just drive up with the products. To me, that's the easiest thing. It's automated forklift. Where's that?
Domino's Pizza is already delivering pizzas.
No, I'm talking about on the job site. On the job site, they already know where all the stuff needs to be in the morning. You could give it to Jobco, the little robot that delivers stuff, and he could deliver the stuff around the job. They need wood, they need risers, they need whatever, concrete. It's needed in different parts of the jobs at different times, but the person that's running the job knows it. So the first thing that they can do is materials distribution. I think that's an easy one.
Okay, so you think it's going to be by layers, and eventually, but let's talk about.
What did I say? What do you think?
You're saying it's going to be iterative. It's going to be layered. Yes.
Of course it will be. It'll be the easy stuff first. I think the easiest thing is an automated forklift and delivery thing because we already got automated cars. I'm sure it's already out there. An automated concrete truck? I don't know about that.
Okay.
An automated window installing machine? Maybe. Remember, all they got to do is the lasers and put it in, but you got to write it up and down the edges. I already know there's automated window washing machines. This is just the next step.
Right. I mean, you'll have an intelligent system that has a 3D model at construction document grade of where everything needs to be. And there'll be a way for the system to guide all the robots to do all that job or all those jobs in parallel.
I agree with you completely. Remember,
Okay, so
a
my
building
question to
is
you
one last thing. A building is only a machine, and we see machines building other machines all the time. Back to you.
Right. So if you're the developer and you have a chance to bring an affordable product and compete in the market and have 100% occupancy, not affordable housing, I'm talking about housing that is affordable. How would you deal with that? With the kind of the temptation of
The moral opposing forces there.
I don't think it's a moral
versus
issue.
Community.
I don't think it's greed either. I think it's about, do you want to compete in the market? Do you want to change the way the market behaves in terms of affordability? Or
You got it, Keith. Rock on. You as well, my friend. So the answer is, that's where Keith needs to live, by the way. Keith can't afford to live in the place that you and I live in. Keith doesn't make enough money, but Keith deserves a clean, safe place, just like you and I do. The answer is that there's a dilemma everywhere. The dilemma is, how do we get the marketplace to address things that we need while we're in a very highly profit-driven environment? And let's talk about that for a minute, because the type of firm that can afford to do this, what you're saying to lead the market on this, the biggest firms are publicly owned. So they would need, I'm sure that there could be activist shareholders that could get in there and motivate them to do this. Oh my gosh, I think I'm onto something.
But aren't the shareholders motivated to increase profits?
There's two types of shareholders. There's the type that are motivated by profits, and there's the type that are motivated to be activists to make social change. And if you get enough people in there that want to make social change, and you get them in there making decisions, they will make social change. This is where people always go, I'm going to family office, and the family office wants to do stuff that has social impact. And right here is about the time for us to take a break. I want you to think about that, okay? Because it knocked you off your beam a little bit. But there are family offices out there that will buy enough in these businesses that will be able to move them. You know what? You don't need 20%. You need 3, 4, 1/10%. You see activist investors moving these firms all the time. And now we're on to something. Think about that. Mendoza, yours. Hi, you're on with me, Jim Freed, and Olivia Ramos, who's a heck of a lot smarter than I am. You actually saw her make the face when she started to think about something she hadn't considered before. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. She thinks about everything. I'm just breaking your chops there, miss. I'm breaking your chops, Olivia. Sorry about that. But hey, everybody, when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to go to Warren Henry. And believe me, they lead the world in technology over at that place. Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar up at 151st and Biscayne. You think I'm rocking the world? I'm loving this. Olivia's got me sharp as a tack right now. I'm loving this. Warren Henry has up in Gainesville. They have Audis. Down in the Keys, they have them all. What do they have in common? They're all great cars. They come with the Warren Henry Advantage. It's a long list of great stuff you get when you buy your car. But the most important part is you become a member of the Warren Henry family. You go, what does that mean? That means they care. It's a big company that cares. It's run by like a little company. It's run by the most amazing people. Larry, Eric, Abe Cohn runs the Lamborghini stuff. It's just tremendous people. So join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. And I'm not kidding. You really should be. Always the best price. Always the best service. Always the best vibe. Always Warren Henry. I always do my best to choose kindness, but I am sort of forthright and strong. Sometimes it doesn't come across right, and I got to apologize, but I always work hard to consider the feelings of other people, and I hope you will too. I think you saw me give high five to Keith, who I really love. All right. Other people I love are my clients. Right now, usually it's just people I really like. I've cut back on all the bad folks. I'm really only working with really nice people now. I really love that. I get up in the morning, I'm just charged. What do I help them do? I help them meet institutional capital sources. Then I help the institutional capital sources understand how my guys think, and then my people, not only guys, people, how they think, and then we do deals. I've done really big deals. I've done really small deals. It depends on what my client needs, because when you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
All right, we're here with Olivia Ramos, the smartest person I know. She's my director of artificial intelligence information. She's also on the show once a month talking to me about the future, which is impossible for me to see until she opens my mind and gets me to clear the hubris. Then we have a great talk. We were up to the point where I was going to say, hey, there's activist investors that might get positions in these big companies and force them to use this automated technology. Already written down the person I'm going to introduce you to make that happen. Back with Olivia Ramos. Hey, Olivia.
Hi. My reaction to that is, if those, I think we're attaching virtue signals, like a good friend of mine says, to this future. I don't think if activists have a huge impact in the market today, I'm not saying that they don't have an impact, but if they're not shifting the market today, the construction market, the real estate development market, it's not going to be them to shift it in the future. And I wouldn't put my hope and faith in activists making products affordable. I would think it is more of a natural, economic, competitive process where some developers will lower the cost because they'll make enough profit to then compete in the market, and then it will be kind of who has the lowest price.
A race to the bottom. Let me put it to you this way, okay? Right now, with current analog technology, the best developer, when I find a deal, the most efficient developer is one that's vertically integrated. They have everything under one roof. They can design, build, and go in one place. And that means that everybody understands what's going on and they all value engineer the deal. So right now, that is something that is sold is, hey, I can deliver at the lowest price. I can deliver it for sure. And this is the way I go. Other people sell against that and say, I can deliver this way, but I don't have change orders. So really, to me, it's the same as making every other business deal right now. It's getting everybody along and getting them to see that it's the right technology for them to execute their business plan. And while I don't think that activist investors are going to switch the market, I think that activist investors are going to have to show the market where it can go before somebody may choose to do it, because somebody has to do it first. And I don't see anybody looking to do this yet, unless you know a particular developer that's developing here in Miami that might consider doing it when they were redeveloping something like a church, let's say.
Yeah, understood. Okay, I wanna switch for a second and think about what we're planning to develop, and if that takes into account the future of robotics in our lives. So let's say now, instead of having a cleaning lady, I have a robot. Instead of going to the grocery store, I have a robot. Instead of cooking, I have a robot.
You sort of do already. What does it look like? It looks like today. Okay? It looks like today. It doesn't look like the Jetsons with that lady running around with the arms flailing and the thing around. It's the Roomba. I went to Best Buy the other day. There's like 4 different kinds of little vacuum things. I couldn't believe it. One guy got the idea. Now there's 4 of them. Okay, 4 at least. Okay, cooking. I'm watching on TV. There's this thing that says order your food online. Put it in it looks like a microwave, but it apparently isn't. And then it cooks everything different at the same time. To me, that's a robot, right?
Absolutely.
There's 2.
Absolutely.
That's cleaning, that's cooking. Shopping, Amazon, I'm done. Done.
You're absolutely right. I think the next step is something like the Tesla bot, where there'll be a human-like figure doing all of this work, right? Because then you don't have to manage a series of robots. You have kind of a robot manager that's kind of like a physical version of Siri or Alexa that's taking care of all the needs in the house.
Well, this sort of ties into that ties into our last thing where we talked about the Internet of all things.
Right. Now,
this is going to be what this is going to, you're talking about the hub for the home, being able to respond to different stimuli in an educated format that makes my life easier. Right?
Yes. My question is, how do we design for that? Do we have like special lanes in the street just for robots? Do we have like a room where these robots live in our homes? Do we design homes so that the robot has a different trajectory of path than humans? Like, how does this work?
Parking garage. We're going to have less cars. We're going to have fewer cars. What are we going to put down there? It's going to need to be flexible because of the sea level rise if you're on the water. That's where I'm going to store and charge my robots. They'll go down there at night. Boop, 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 boop. Just like my car.
Yeah. No,
just like my car. That's easy. That's an easy one.
That's that's good. That's retrofitting the existing
adaptive reuse. Adaptive reuse for KC. Oh, I'm loving this now. I'm writing notes.
Right. The other question is, does it need to be a person? Can the home be a robot? You know, can the home just...
Well, the home is a robot. Hold on a second now. Okay. So I'm going to move into a new place. The place has a Nest. My wife goes to me, did you know that you can control all of the different features of the air conditioner from your iPad? I said, sure, honey. Guess what else you can do? You could control everything if I bought you the right appliances. Everything. You'd never have to get out of bed. You could go make the coffee. Then you could go start the microwave. Then you can go, oh my gosh, I've got to get out, but make sure that everything's clean from yesterday. Boom. I mean, come on, the whole thing in one little button push. Or am I missing something?
No, you're not missing something. It seems like we've done a good job at gradually bringing these things into our everyday lives. That it doesn't seem like, even if there was like a human looking robot, we wouldn't be that surprised. In fact, Japan has had these humanoids and, you know, since the Edo period.
The doggies.
Yeah.
Look, the answer is that we're going to have to be. Ask me the question before I give you the answer.
Yes, the question is, and this is less about real estate and more about humanity. Like, how close are we going to get to these robots? Like, how?
Oh, that's easy.
Very close. So, for example, in my house, we have a Roomba. And
Don't you want to know why I think that?
Yes, I do. How close is
we're going to depend on them. We're going to depend on them to do everything. And let me take it all the way to the end for you. And I mean to the end. Now I'm old. I'm alone. I'm lonely. I'm sad. I can't take care of myself. And I'm not sure I can get all my pills right. That means I got to go live in an ALF. Unless there's something to take care of me, somebody to take care of me. My biggest fear in life is being alone. I'd pay almost anything to make sure I wasn't.
Right. Actually, that reminds me of a famous case, and I think the kind of legal system is going to have to step up here. There's a famous case of a family who hired a company that had robots to take care of their elderly father. And he happened to be an alcoholic. And so the robot's job was to make the father happy and therefore fed him alcohol, and the father passed away. Who is at fault in that scenario? The programmer. So this is something that we're going to have to deal with a lot, right? For example, a robot's supposed to deliver the pizza. Somebody comes and tries to steal the pizza. If the robot,
that's the fraternity prank. The fraternity prank where I go, hey, I'll give you $5 if you don't go to room 7.
Okay.
So the answer is Domino's will guarantee that you get your pizza. Domino's will end up having to put it inside of a box that nobody can open without a code. That's easy.
What about violent acts towards robots? Or robots, do you expect?
How about violent acts by robots? I personally think that, I don't know that how you legislate mental health. I guess you do. I guess I do. But I got to believe that if there's violent, how about this? I'll take it one step further. People used to get the death penalty for stealing people's horses. What's the difference?
Okay. So there'll be strict law against
There will be
hurting
strict
robots.
laws against messing with somebody's friend. They will be friends. They will be friends. Oh, I can't even say something I was about to say. But next question.
Now, come on, say it.
No. Next question. You can ask me
Okay.
offline what I was going to say, but I will not say it in the
Good.
public forum.
Talking about the future of development, and we always ask this question about the technology that we're speaking with. If all buildings are supposed to be robots in the future, and we're moving in that direction, and a way to have an edge in the market is for your building to be smart and to provide all these services. Should developers start thinking about that now? When do you think that should be implemented in design, and is it worth the extra cost to design and implement these new systems?
Let's have a break and then we'll talk about that. Reagan, play it. All right, I finished writing down my answer for Olivia. Now I'm ready to remind everybody that we're South Florida's longest running business talk show. I think you're starting to see why. We got great guests and we give great vibe and energy. When you're looking to buy or lease a car, and thanks to Warren Henry for sponsoring us for like a long time, 2012. Thank you, Warren Henry. Thank you, Warren. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Eric. Oh man, Eric is like, he'd give you a run, Olivia, for being a futurist. In fact, I think I need to get you together. Remind me, I want to introduce you to Eric and Larry. We need to meet them now. Okay. So when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. You just heard me tell Olivia how smart these people are. They're always thinking about how to make your experience better and more efficient for you because they know it's all about you. Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar up at 151st and Biscayne. Audi up in Gainesville. The Keys, they got all kinds of great cars down there. I'm going to go down there and maybe get a Jeep. I'm really excited about that. What do they all have in common? They're all great cars, and they all come with the Warren Henry advantage. So a list of great things. They replace your keys if you lose them. Those are $100 right there, those automatic keys. They polish up your rims if you eat them up on the curb over there. The thing I like the most is they give you 3 days to make sure you like your car. You will. Join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian. I got to put that in there because it's true. My mom, my friends, we're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service. You got it. Always Warren Henry.
This is Becca Carlson from Carlson Integrated. You know, a lot of our clients find that they can do anything, but not really everything. We are always excited to jump in and help. So whether you need another set of hands for a project or even comprehensive marketing management, our team of marketing mavens would love to have a conversation with you to see if we are the right fit. We do everything from logo and design work to email outreach and social media to writing and thought leadership. And here's a fun one. We are now offering our fabulous ebook of top 10 marketing tips on our website for free. So head over to carlsonintegrated.com and grab a copy today. And please always let us know how we can help. My email is Becca, that's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com. That's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com.
She's great. She's helping my clients all the time look better, make presentations. She's extra hands for a lot of people I know. Her team is tremendous. They do great work. They help me look good, and that ain't easy. All right, now, call me if I can help you, or DM me, or just reach out, email me, whatever it is, because I'm helping a lot of people. I've got my construction plan, my construction program. I got $400 million to put out in $40 to $70 million chunks. We're looking to build apartments, hotels, resorts. The pricing's about 100 basis points higher if you want to do the resorts and hotels. 3-year term, it's extendable. The amount of LTC is extendable. We can go all the way up to the top. We've got the ability to do a mezzanine, all kinds of great financing. Guess what? We're negotiable on the guarantees as well. So call me if I can help you with that. I've got all kinds of other amazing programs. I'm doing incredible stuff. You'll watch the show. We'll probably profile it once I start getting it done and closed. Just closed a huge deal on some paper lots. What's that? The front of some guy's farm that a big housing company wants to buy. So call me. Raw End just did it. Reach out to me. I'm here to help you. Why? Because when you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
Yeah, we're back. I'm broadcasting live from Zach. You can see the hole in the roof over there. That's because God is watching me. You too, Olivia. Now, we were talking about the engineering of buildings in a current state to allow for future technology upgrades. That's where we were, right, Olivia?
Yes, I was asking, should buildings begin to integrate these robotic systems now? Predicting
the answer is of course. The answer is of course. One of the guys downtown tried to do a robotic parking garage. He got messed up, but hopefully the second generation of that will work. Okay, well, but the reality is, I'm not talking about the parking garage. I'm talking about making the buildings capable of doing it. That's easy. You just make the conduit a little wider so that they can put in more wires down the road. You make it so that there's easier, clear space viewing so that the broadband and the Bluetooth can do better. You make the walls be more, have the ability for stuff to go through it, or you build in boosters into the walls. Why, that's not so hard to do.
Okay, let me ask you another question.
Yeah, you're doing that already.
Okay, in a future where cooking happens through robots, grocery shopping happens through robots, construction happens with robots. Let's say all mundane tasks are now done by robots, retail, restaurants, everything that's now under labored, right, is now replaced by robots because there's a need for this labor to be done. What happens to society? Because then there'll be the people who know how to manage these robots, they will have jobs. The people who have been, actually, I'm not sure if anybody's being replaced because robots are just filling a hole of jobs that people don't want to do. So what happens to society? Is there a larger shift between is there a larger stretch between low economic societies and high economic societies?
Well, I don't understand what you mean by stretch, but let's talk about what the people will do. Somebody's going to have to maintain those robots. The people have to get trained to do that. Robots will not replace all people at the low-paying, mundane jobs, at least not within my lifetime or even the next person's lifetime that I can see. So the social issue, society will evolve. There used to be no electricity, for crying out loud. We got through that, didn't we? So,
yeah, I was thinking before the Industrial Revolution, over 90% of the jobs were in agriculture, and now only 4% of jobs are in agriculture. So there was a big shift before.
People are going to move back to agriculture. The agriculture is just going to be technology driven, but it's going to have to be brought to the cities and the places where the food is consumed so that it can reduce greenhouse gases and also make the menu more diverse and more controllable for the little area. I mean, let's face it, everybody wants to have grapes all the time. Everybody wants to have lettuce all the time. It's grown seasonally across the world. Supply chain can get disrupted. And what happens? We saw it. People don't want the supply chain to be disrupted. The way you keep the supply chain going is how, Olivia? With robots. Robots don't get sick. Robots don't have to take a day off. But robots need to be maintained. Robots need to go somewhere. They need to do something. There'll be people. There'll be needs for people.
No, absolutely. It's just, listen.
I really can't tell you. I can't tell you what society is going to look like I can only tell you that it will evolve because people evolve. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here.
Right, but there's so many people working in, I don't think it's a negative thing. I think these jobs that people hate anyway, I'm happy that they're getting replaced.
Look,
but what I'm seeing now, which is more
modification.
interesting, hold on, one last point. After the pandemic, there's a shortage of workforce in tons of industries, which means people don't want to go back to these jobs. That's an opportunity for robotics.
Correct.
So it's no longer this vision of like robotics are taking over and it's a negative thing. It's actually a positive thing. As we know it today, this was not happening before the pandemic.
Correct. Well, this would, yeah, right. This is a less fearsome evolutionary step, if for no other reason than we've seen it now.
Right. So I think in your lifetime, you will see complete automation for sure. And we will need very few people to manage this new world. And that's kind of scary. For maybe there's something like universal income that has to come in to kind of leverage the lack of jobs. But there will be less jobs for sure. But I'm more interested in knowing how buildings can begin to integrate these technologies, like you mentioned, vertical farming.
So first of all, I think it's going to start by, I think they're already using it. I think on big jobs, the concrete pours, on every job, they should be measuring and laying things out with robots. Even if the robots are merely components of what the surveyors and the construction people are using right now, that'll evolve and change. I think that you'll be seeing within the next couple of years, the stuff will be delivered to the job site by an automated vehicle that comes from an automated place. It doesn't need to come from Home Depot. It comes from construction place for wherever the big Lennar or Styles or whoever it is. They order all the stuff. It's all in their place. It all goes out by automated stuff. It's much more efficient. It gets there at the time it's needed, just in time.
Okay. Let's talk quickly over the existing housing market that's, has grown. The prices of housing have grown a lot since the pandemic across the board. In Miami, it's really hard to find a place as a young person moving in.
The supply and demand thing.
The supply and demand thing, yes. If this is a bubble and if this goes sour, what does that look like? Does that open an opportunity for, what is your face telling? What?
I'm listening and there's a plane going over, so I'm trying to hear what your question is. You're going to have to start over.
Gotcha. If we're in a housing bubble or, we're in some kind of economic bubble and it pops, what does that look like as an opportunity for automation?
Automation has to show that it can reduce costs. If it can't, then who needs automation? I mean, that's the bottom line, isn't it? That's all we've been really talking about. Other than not hurting people's backs or not making them sweat, the only thing automation does is help people live better lives. Theoretically.
Okay, so
that would have to be the argument.
You're saying it hasn't been proved yet that automating a construction site will be cheaper.
I'm saying it hasn't been done yet. Do all the machines exist? Can you show me if I gave you a construction chart, the PERT chart of what things needed to be done when? Could you show me the machines that could do every one of those steps?
Right.
If they exist, then I guarantee you somebody's trying to automate the entire construction process.
Okay.
So that's your next research project. Show me the machines.
That is, yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty
the
sure.
Machines are out there for different components, but it's not seamless yet. The nest for the construction job doesn't exist yet. It doesn't know what to feed into it yet. So there may be the concept. There may actually even be the technology. Okay, it might be there on the basic.
Do you think there's a fear because automation is in a way transparent? Do you think there's a fear of adoption because you won't be able to cheat the system with automation? Is that holding us back?
I don't know what you mean by cheating the system. No developer wants to cheat the system. They want to lower costs.
Right. What about contractors?
I still don't get the question. They want to lower costs too. They want to have the best bid. They want their bid to be tight. If they're shown to have tight bids that are on point, people are going to use them.
Okay, but in the human negotiation of things and in the human dealing of things, there's a lot of unseen profits and unseen inefficiencies that bring profits that will no longer
Not
be
to the
there.
professional deal maker. The professional deal maker knows what's there, and by the time you're getting to the bank loan and equity investment phase, that's all being taken out. There's no fat in these deals by the end that's hidden. Everybody knows exactly where it's at. It's called value engineering.
Okay, then why are most construction projects over budget?
Because they're run by human beings. And there's a lot of things that are unseen that go on in the 18 to 24 months that it takes to do the construction process.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Do you think that those are opportunities for higher profits and there'll be a pushback for automation because those opportunities will no longer be there?
Say that again. I didn't understand the question.
Those inefficiencies are making someone money. You agree with that?
Which inefficiencies?
Change orders, I don't know. Yeah, mostly change orders.
I don't know. Some people, that's their business strategy, is to bid low and have a lot of change orders. Other people is to give an honest bid and have no change orders. It's up to the developer to know who he's getting his bid from and what they have inside their bid.
Sure. And yeah. And so my question is that a big enough business that will push back against automation, because automation will be able to be tracked by the developer, and the developer know exactly
I think it does it already. I think that construction jobs are already audited by builders reps. Those are people, okay? They can be bribed, they can be manipulated, but in general, there's a person watching every deal for the money and the people that are involved, not just the developer. There's always somebody watching the deal that's outside. So if you have an automated sidecar thing, watching it all, making me take my concrete out with a chip and stuff like that, of course. So I think that in the future, can automation and robotics be taken to the construction site? Sure. Do I think that they can make it cheaper? Sure. Do I think that they can make it easier to build? Sure. Do I think they can make it faster to deliver? Sure. All those things lead me to believe that the construction site will be automated as soon as possible.
Okay.
Robots don't need to be team played and have their feelings massaged and given big dinners and lunches to have team spirit. They just need to be plugged in. There's a lot of human issues that go along with a construction job too, Olivia. I think that we need to talk about that in the future because our show today is over.
That's right. Well, there's a lot of uncertainty definitely on my side about what this looks like, but
What do you think it looks like? We talked about, what do you think it looks like?
No, I mean, I brought the subject up because I bring the subject up so that I can learn from it and I can have maybe a clearer understanding of what this could look like. I don't have that. I hope that one day I can walk into a construction site and the whole thing is just beautifully in sync and automated and, and efficient.
I believe it will be. I believe the biggest issue is that the construction sites go from place to place and like an auto assembly line is in one place. So the real issue is how do you efficiently deploy and manage the robots? Because I think the robots exist. I think they could do the job. Now what's next? It's getting the robotic system up. And like I told you, they've already got the big robotic window washer. So I think they could do everything. And that's my answer.
Cool. So then what's missing is one big brain that controls the robots.
It's missing it's like when they said VCR or Betamax. They need to get there. They need to agree on what it is and then do it. And I think you do that by having a big adopter like one of the big apartment developers or one of the big like Prologis. I think Prologis might be the best place to start building. And I don't know if they, whoever it is, building big boxes that are all automated on the inside. Now you can build the big box automated outside because it's simple. It's just a bunch of tilt up. Woo! That's a great place to end. So we're going to wrap it up. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. I want to thank Olivia. I want to thank Regan. I want to thank all our sponsors, the U.S. Center for Real Estate Studies. They have their big thing coming up with all their board members at the end of next month. I can't go, but I'll hopefully be there realistically. Virtually through technology. And remember, the person who wants to do something finds a way. The other finds an excuse. Now go out there and make it happen. God bless you. God bless America. I'm out of here. Mr. Mendoza, it's yours. Olivia, I'll see you at your sister's place.